Okay, so I've been in the indie comic game long enough to rack up mistakes like I'm collecting Pokemon cards. And if I had to start over, honestly, I'd probably cry. But let's pretend that I'm built different. Here's 5 things I would do differently if I was starting my indie comics career completely over. Number 1, don't launch a Patreon or 50 side hustles right away. When I first started, I launched my Patreon immediately. Like day 1, no audience, no trust, just vibes. Like, hey stranger, how about $5 a month for trust me, bro? Spoiler, they did not trust me, bro. Like, who the fuck did I think I was? That's like someone walking up to you at the gym and asking if you'll spot them for life. Like, no. And I got ahead of myself launching this Patreon early because I was just like marketing like crazy, researching how to grow on YouTube and all the different like side avenues of making sure you're building like a brand and a community. I was really studying out the wazoo. So I was hype applying my new findings to the real world and having people join in other areas of support. But the reality is you need time for people to decide if they really mess with you. Your personality, your comic, your whatever. And I think it's not that people don't want to support, like they do, but we want to know what we're supporting. You can have the best Patreon in the world. You can have just golden tiers, just really great stuff that you're offering. But if nobody's seen your comic yet, they're not sticking around. Trust me, people are way more likely to support you once you've actually given them something. Until then, you're just that dude with 0 followers asking for $5 a month. Like, chill, okay? You have to earn the right to disappoint people monthly. Got it? So the move, build trust first. Focus on your comic, focus on showing up consistently, then roll out the extra stuff once people already believe in you. Don't put your cart before the doodle. Number 2, focus on your comic. You learn hella quick that starting your comic career isn't just about making the comic. I'm a broken record here with this, but no matter how good your shit is, if you don't got eyes on it, it's not going anywhere. So you lean hard into the marketing and audience growth, doing side projects and commissions and whatever else for exposure, obsessively following popular posts and tweets, hoping to get your own memes and jokes into the zeitgeist and a little bit of exposure. Dial that back, my guy. You're a comic creator? Lead with that. Put the comic front and center. All the other stuff feels like it's helping, and it may be to some degree, but you're also spreading yourself too thin in the wrong areas. I learned this when I was so intensely focused on brand growth, and I put a lot of work into it and understanding how to improve, but my comic creation and productivity suffered like a Tamagotchi I forgot to feed. So think of it like this. Every time you post, you're training people what to expect from you. If 80% of your feed is commission work, don't be surprised when no one gives a shit about your original comic launch. They didn't sign up for that. They signed up for you drawing their OCs with wolf tails. And we all know that one artist who's been juggling 87 side hustles but hasn't uploaded their comic since like Obama's first term. Yeah, don't be that guy. Your comic is the main dish. Everything else should just be appetizers that make people hungry for it. The tide raises all ships, but not if you're sinking in your own dinghy. So streamline it. 2 birds, 1 stone. The content you make should always feed back into your comic somehow. Behind the scenes stuff, concept sketches, drawing processes, story teasers, or explaining your story process. That's all stuff that raises your tide, not someone else's. Because most of us are one person running a whole operation, and it feels like sometimes that it's on you to just do everything. So it's like when you split your energy, you don't get an extra growth. You just end up half-assing 3 things instead of whole-assing 1 thing. And comics are already hard enough, man. Don't sabotage yourself before you even get momentum. Number 3, start smaller. Alright, story time. When I first started, I cranked out a fully colored 180-page graphic novel. Yeah, absolutely insane. And the only reason that happened was because I made it during the COVID pandemic, where the world was shut down and we all had nothing but time to cough and bake bread and drink oat milk lattes. I really lucked out on the timing, I won't disagree at all. Because when I conceived of this graphic novel idea, which is a Last of Us inspired apocalyptic story in an icy hellscape, I knew I wanted it to be a really thick graphic novel. A really thick book like Bone or Amulet that I'd read from the Scholastic versions. But let's be real, most of us don't have that lockdown schedule anymore. We've got jobs, relationships, student loans, whatever. The world keeps spinning. So if you're starting now, don't go for the giant 400-page epic right out the gate. That's the fastest way to burn out and hate your own project. Here's the reality. Everyone wants their magnum opus right out the gate. Their 12-volume epic. This is gonna change the comic scene forever saga. And you know what usually happens? You lose steam by page 27. Your comic Twitter goes dead, and suddenly you're doing commissions of people's Dungeons & Dragons characters just to feel alive again. Every artist thinks they're writing Berserk until page 14 humbles them. The smart move when starting out, start smaller. Break your giant story up, 20, 30, 50 page chunks. Build something you can actually finish, share, and feel proud of before you've wasted years on some unfinished masterpiece. Honestly, I was and still kind of am the most stubborn person on this start smaller take. Like, I'm still getting myself to accept and conform to it because I really only get satisfied with big, complete, well-rounded, and finished stories in comics. My beginning, middle, and end type shit. Little unfinished floppies or bite-sized slivers of a potentially good comic they've just never cut it for me. I'm a bottomless appetite bitch, big back style. I've really grown to understand the start smaller concept because when I was making part 2 of my Blood in the Land comic, I wanted to do the same like 180 page, 200 page graphic novel installment. And yeah, and while I was drawing it, the shorter story argument never rang more true. Without the pandemic schedule to fall back on, I felt the burnout and never-ending feelings sink in. I had hundreds of pages to draw in color, and I started to feel the lack of seeing my fruits of my labor come to fruition. And it took some time for me to reflect on the process and story, and eventually go on a hiatus to not only just do some creative rewrites, but just think about how I wanted to parcel out this story in the future. And in the meantime, during that hiatus, I've actually hopped over to another series I've been wanting to make, a fantasy comedy adventure that I pitch as Rick and Morty meets Legend of Zelda. It's 72 pages, which is still substantial, like I know, but it's less than my Blood in the Land sized graphic novels. And as I'm finishing inking the final pages of this fantasy book, and I'm actually feeling more motivated than ever because I'm constantly feeling the progress in my story, and I can see the end zone down the road, and that honestly has just been a really great motivation to keep me going and like seeing this through to the end. And I think just sharing from the consumer or the reader point of view of big stories versus small stories, just think like no one wants to take a gamble on your massive saga if you've never finished on anything. But a tight, complete story, that builds trust, and once readers trust you, then you can ask them to strap in for your magnum opus. Better to finish a comic that's bite-sized than to leave behind an unfinished corpse of a saga that nobody ever reads. If you try to go full Goku training arc on day 1, you're just gonna blow at your back, okay? Number 4. When I first made content, I thought everything had to be hyper edited. I mean, this was like during the peak of the Mr. Beast era of just overproduced and over edited stuff. Text flying everywhere, zooms, sound effects. It was like a YouTube poop fever dream, okay? And yeah, some of it was fun, but it also slowed me down a ton. I was spending more time editing videos about making comics than actually making comics, which is insane. Turns out people don't actually care if your captions appear with a fart sound. They just want you being real, sharing your process, and giving them a reason to stick around. So if you're still trying to figure out videos and content and stuff to share your personality or who you are as a creator or anything to help with your comic exposure or brand, just remember, like, talk to the camera, show your process, share what you're struggling with. That's way more relatable than some 30-second edit that's trying to run for the Adobe After Effects Olympics. Simple works. Like, the bare bones stuff really does actually work. We're all going lo-fi, baby. And that doesn't mean boring. It means sustainable. If it's something you can actually do week after week, you'll actually grow instead of disappearing for 3 months because you got lost in After Effects. Number 5, keep your Kickstarters and crowdfunding campaigns simple. Man, I remember when I did my first Kickstarter, I wanted to have all these random accessories and cool things to offer as rewards. I wanted pins and posters and enameled charms. Like my random original character was gonna outsell Pikachu. Or like as if people were gonna plaster the poster of my random characters on their wall right next to the Oppenheimer poster. Like it actually meant something for their interior design. Newsflash, that they weren't, that never happened. Just complete moot. If people don't know your comic yet, they don't care about the 12 side perks. They just want your book. So when you're starting, make it easy and keep your campaign simple. Books first, stickers, bookmarks, prints, stuff that fits inside the same box without making shipping a total nightmare. You're not just saving money, you're saving your sanity of running an Etsy sweatshop out of your apartment. Because look, until people really love your comic, they're not committing to a $50 bundle of all your trinkets. They just want the story. Earn the fandom first and then scale up. Build the brand, not a merchandise empire. So yeah, if I was starting over, too long didn't read, I would just keep everything simplified. No Patreon before people even know your name. Make your content feed the comic, not a bunch of random side quests. Start smaller so you actually finish something. And chill on the editing. No one's giving out an Oscar for your Premiere Pro transitions. And keep your Kickstarters and campaigns simple. Streamline them. Because nobody's pledging $50 for a keychain of a character they've never heard of. And at the end of the day, it all comes back to one thing. Your comic. If that's fire, everything else has a chance to work. And if it sucks, no amount of stickers, stretch goals, or Instagram reels are going to fix that. So focus on the planet, your comic, and all the extra stuff that you want, those should just be moons orbiting it. Don't build a galaxy if you can't even keep that one planet alive. And yeah, look, I know, it sucks. Like, comics can be exhausting. They ruin your posture and your sleep and your wrists, but you'll finish that page and suddenly the voices in your head are like, yo,
this is kind of worth it.
Anyways, that's it from me. Thanks for watching if you made it all the way until the end, and I'm going to go off and ignore my own advice by starting a 400-page comic saga with 6 tie-in one-shots, a podcast, and a line of enamel pins. Because apparently I hate myself, so yeah, see you in the next one.